The Tesla killer is here, and it's called the Rivian R2. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This vehicle is really nice. 650 horsepower, a little higher than that actually. 350-mile range. The performance model, which is going to be available later this year, is coming in at around $57,000. Now you would have to add, destination fees and all that stuff to that, but call it 60 grand. That's a really good deal. Now, I did a poll 2 days ago, and I said to people, will you cancel your Cybertruck order and switch over to the Rivian R2? And I got overwhelmingly, everybody said no, not a chance. So it's not going to affect the Cybertruck. It's a different customer. It's a different client. Now, Model Y, it will definitely compete with. There's no question about that. No question. Now, I haven't been in one personally, but I really trust the people in the Tesla community. Josh West, David Moss, all those guys, they were down in Austin yesterday for the autonomous vehicle day, which I'm going to do another video on that later. The Cybercab was out driving around in public. You could view it, sit in it, touch it, feel it. So that was a big deal. But the Rivian was also down there, and of course the R2 is front and center. Now, the Model Y is, obviously, I'm driving a Model Y. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal vehicle. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't buy the R2 right now over a Model Y. However, my wife is going to need a car soon. I have ordered the Cybertruck, and my wife was then going to be driving this Model Y Juniper, which is a perfect car. I've got over 25,000 miles on this car, and I've only had it 6 months. I'm addicted to driving it, or maybe I should say not driving it. Look, Ma, no hands. Full self-driving is amazing. Anyway, that's going to be a long time to wait for my Cybertruck. We may buy the Rivian R2. Now, the other thing about the R2 is, you notice you never hear any negatives about Rivian. You never see them on the side of the road broke down. You never see the videos of them catching fire. And by the way, the videos of the Teslas catching fire, most of them are BS. Combustion engine cars burn far more than electric vehicles do. And I know there's more of them out there, blah, 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 blah. But these cars, this car that I'm sitting in is as safe as it could be. But Rivian does seem to be a very reliable, very respected vehicle. Now, who will it kill? I mean, it will affect Model Y sales, no question about it. But we all know Tesla are moving away from car ownership, right? It's all going to be about autonomy. I'll tell you who it's going to affect. It's going to affect every other supplier, every other legacy auto builder who is focused on selling mid-size and full-size SUVs. In fact, the full-size SUV, their days are numbered anyway. You know, the Suburban, the Yukon, what's the other one? The whatever it is. Anyway, they're in trouble because they kind of remind me of the old gas guzzler, the big old American, you know, Ford, Chevy, the wide body, square body car, because of gasoline. And I know the war could be over in 2 days. I get it. Gas prices may go down to lower levels than they've ever been at before. But once it gets in people's heads that gas can shoot up in price, they change their thinking. Also, very few people need those anymore. Most of the people that have those vehicles now, it's kind of an ego-driven thing. You know, I live in South Carolina in a not because I'm nothing special, but I live in a very affluent area now. It wasn't an affluent area when I got here, and I certainly couldn't afford to move here were I to move here today, but everybody seems to be driving a big giant SUV. If you don't have a Hendrick, you know, plate on your car, you know, the license plate cover, you're kind of nobody. So that's a big deal, although there are a lot of Teslas surrounding me right now. So it is changing, but I even believe that those people don't want the big gas guzzler SUV anymore. So some of them have downsized, the Palisades and, the Hondas and the Toyotas, Siennas, and, all that type of stuff. All that stuff is very popular. I think the R2 challenges all of those, every one of them. I really do. Now, the only problem Rivian has, just as many EV producers have, and even the legacy auto companies who are trying to produce EVs, is they are bleeding money. I mean, it is costing enormous amounts of money to keep that company afloat. Having said that, this year, I'm not, I don't need to give you the numbers. You can just use Grok to look up the numbers. But this year they lost a few billion more than they did last year. So they're definitely moving in the right direction. And many of us thought, and I don't like mocking other brands, but I kind of laughed at Rivian in the beginning. I'm like, oh, this is not going to survive. But you have to respect them now. They're at a level now to where you have to respect them. You have to respect what they're doing. It's a beautiful vehicle. Many of the die-hard Tesla influencers are very, very impressed with this vehicle. So now, here's the problem, though. And this is actually a problem for Tesla also. One of the things that I honestly don't understand is I sometimes see people driving around in Teslas like mine, like the Model Y Juniper or any Tesla, and they're physically driving the car. Their hands are on the wheel, and I still can't get my head around that. Now I know people love to drive. I get that, but it makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. Now, the truth is, full self-driving has a 12% adoption rate. Now, that is growing. It was 1%, 2%, 3%. Now it's at 12%. I believe, I just don't see people wanting to drive cars in the future. Most people won't even want to own cars, but that's where the cybercab comes in. But I don't want to get off track here. The point is, there's a 12% adoption rate. Now, to that 12% of people, they will not buy the Rivian R2. They just won't, because it's not autonomous. It does not have full self-driving. Now, they're promising it. They have a level of it that they say is coming out in 2027, but they're a long, long way. Everybody is a long way from where Tesla are with full self-driving. So you have that 12%. Now, apart from that, there are two types of people in this world. There are people who love EVs, and there are people who hate EVs. You will never sell an R2 or a Tesla to them. And the people who love EVs, they will buy either a Tesla or a Rivian. And frankly, a small percentage will buy Lucid. I think the Hyundai is selling very well, but outside of that, who's going to adopt this? Who's going to buy them? So here's what I think overall about the industry. I think the third group of people, or the fourth group of people, if you want to add in FSD, that nobody is focusing on, is the people who really kind of don't care what car they drive. They just need a car. And you've met these people. Like, what are you thinking about? Oh, I don't know. I just want, an SUV, I guess. I travel sometimes. Those are the people that both Tesla and Rivian need to be targeting. So I think the marketing strategies of both of these companies is going to have to change dramatically. Now, eventually, we are all going to be in full autonomy. I can guarantee you right now, Tesla is not a car company. It no longer is. In fact, they canceled the S and the X in order to build robots. And who knows? The Model Y could get scratched too. I believe this Cybercab is going to be an enormous product. But anyway, the Rivian R2, I think, is a great product. I think it is going to challenge Tesla, but I really do believe that it's the nail in the coffin for every other brand out there. Listen, if you're still here, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, share the video, and leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what kind of car you believe you want to own. And I have another important question. Do you even want to own a car anymore? Because I tell you right now, I really don't. I love this car. I think it's beautiful. But a day will come where it will be nice for me to just tap a little app on a phone and have my Cybercab pick me up. I can watch movies. I can work in there. There's no steering wheel. I'll be good with that. Thanks for watching.